Well, Donnie, today's a special day.
Yep, today is the special day.
Tell them what day it is.
This is the day that we're done with the jailhouse.
We finished up the jailhouse. Now, people, there's a heck of an echo in this place until they get some furniture in here. So you'll just have to bear with us while we talk here a little bit.
We're going to start this video where we started the whole series.
That's true.
Right here at this back door.
Now, our very first video, you may remember, we were in the back of the jailhouse and it was all dilapidated and falling apart. There was bricks falling off the wall, it seemed like. All of the plaster was gone. The ceiling was caving in. There was a couple wood boards up here holding up the top, right?
Water knee deep.
Water knee deep. And the first thing we did was there was a bunch of slats in the doorway here where they had paneling over it. And we tore them slats out and then we installed this door. What are we going to do?
We're going to sit here and look at this.
We've been doing that. We got like 15 minutes of video already.
Okay. Well, we got to get these 2x out and we didn't bring a hammer.
Use your muscles.
I don't think there is any. That ain't coming out. Okay.
We're going to go get a hammer. Oh, wait a minute. He's going to be ingenuity.
Hammer.
Well, let me step back so we don't break the camera. Oh, now he's got a bigger hammer. That one's rotted. It ought to come right out.
Too big.
So we got our door, and then we put a handle on it. Remember that, Donnie?
This hole was a ditch. I remember that.
Yeah, it took them a while to drill out that hole. But we got it all. Now, what do we do after that? What was the next thing we did?
I think we started up there then.
Oh yeah, we had to put the beam in because the ceiling was collapsing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so we demoed the whole front. Now we didn't have much demo here in the back because it was already messed up. By the way, since those videos, we have confirmed that the jail, the actual cells were over there, right in that corner. And the reason we confirmed that was because a guy came by that got locked up one time. Now he told us that what they used to do is they would throw you in the back room with the door there and you were just allowed in here. But it was town hall, not just the jail. So he was in here drunk and he said at the time the window was still in the back wall. And there was a bunch of Christmas tree stuff in here for the town.
With a pot-bellied stove.
And there was a big pot-bellied stove right here. Now the pot-bellied stove had a pipe that came up and it went through the wall right there. And so out on the outside you can see a hole where the stove came out. And he said that he was drunk, so he saw that window and he thought, I can get out that damn window. So he came over here and he was breaking stuff and messing up their Christmas displays and trying to get out the window. And the cop figured out that he was back here doing it. And he came back in here and grabbed him and threw him in one of the cages that he said was over here. So that's how we figured out where the cages were. Now there's nothing left of them, so you can't tell.
Nope, nothing at all.
Okay, so we'll go show them what we did with the front. So we tore down all of the rooms in the front, eventually put in a beam from the front to the back, and painted the walls.
Metal columns, then brick columns.
Metal columns, then brick columns.
New concrete floor.
New concrete floor.
Big pillars underneath the
Let's go show them. Let's go show them. So you've already seen all of this, but
here we go. Remember, right there.
Oh yeah, you can kind of still see it.
That was another chimney hole.
Yep.
And it had money bags stuck in it.
Yeah, money bags stuck in it.
Money bags stuck in it.
Did we get that on video?
I told you the video.
We must have, yeah.
It was in the trailer when you went and videoed it, though. It was already been pulled out.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There you go. Somebody stuck a rag up in there at some point. Trying to stop the draft, I guess.
I'll flip the damn thing over and open it.
Yeah, it's a bank bag.
Number 3.
What's that say above, Charlotte? Rock. Damn thing's falling apart.
So we did that. That hole there, it was already there when we bought the place.
But remember, they had the drop ceiling.
Yeah, they had drop ceiling.
So there was a room in here. So whenever we were doing that part, and we'll try to edit some of the video back in of when we were.
This, hey, the most important thing right here. Right there. Where that 12-foot long snake was.
No, that was over there, Donnie.
No, he was right here behind the water fountain. Right there.
You think so?
12-foot long. He's a big old long.
Okay, so there was a snake.
Right there.
It was right there, he said. Okay, we'll see.
He can edit. Look at this, y'all. There's snakes in here. And he's got me working in here. I told him no. He made me do it anyway.
Oh, boy, it's big. It's like 15 feet, I think, Donnie.
Oh, shit. Right there.
How long you think?
It's every bit of 12 and a half.
Yep. That's right. It's big.
Hey, you get.
No, wait a minute.
Hey, you get. No. Hey, you pick. Take it.
Boy, it's like, it's got to be 8 feet long.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a 25-foot long light bulb there next to it.
Yeah.
But there was a hallway right here.
Hallway. Well, you
and there was a door right there
see there.
going into that room. And then you can see the other room that was right there. Mm-hmm. Right? And a door about right there going into that room. And then this was a wooden floor. And there was a door about right here going into this room. And the reason that there was a wooden floor is because if you look where that concrete has been repoured, you saw the video where we did that. That was all dirt because at one point, this building was built in 1926. At one point, the fire truck actually parked right there. And there was some kind of wall or something. The whole front must have been different. We can't figure it out. But we've had several people confirm to us that it was like that in the 50s, they remember it. So, poured the concrete, got that taken care of.
Then we had to do the ceiling.
We had to do the ceiling. Now, the first part of the ceiling was, it was all sagging. So it was dropping about 4 to 5 inches in the middle. So we had to put columns in to hold up the ceiling, and we jacked up each row and built a wall, a temporary wall on each side. Jacked up the roof, got it flat again, the ceiling got it flat again, which got the roof flat again. There was a hip wall up here, and so when this went up, it pushed the roof up. Basically, they built it so that there were beams from here to about here and beams from here to about here, but there wasn't any that went all the way. So over the years, they scissored. They were just nailed together in the middle.
And right in the middle of the building, there's a hip wall, basically.
Yeah, on
another
top.
wall sitting there, and the roof joists did the same thing.
Yeah.
They split right on top of that hip wall. So all that weight is pushing down right on the top of that beam now.
That didn't used to be there.
Yeah, that did used to be there.
So we put in posts. Remember we dug holes and poured footings? And we put in metal posts.
Yeah, the little metal
columns with a they call it a saddle on the top that hold the beam. And the beam over here is held up by the glass window. Somebody asked the other day if you were going to put in a big header to hold that up.
Nope. If you look right there, you see that black? That's a steel I-beam in there.
Yeah.
And if you go back and look at that video, I show a shot straight through that hole into the I-beam. It's sitting inside the I-beam.
Yeah.
It can't go nowhere.
So that's fine. And then it's attached to the saddle there. And then it goes along and attaches to the saddle here. And by the way, those are laminate LVL beams.
And these bricks are just for show.
Yeah.
There's no structural value
The
there.
bricks are just to hide the posts.
Yeah, it just aesthetic reasons.
Make it look a little more classy. And then over here, this window is holding up the beam. But really what's happening is behind that window, there's something crazy going on here where there's a wood wall and then a brick wall with a steel, really thick door here. And so there's iron, it's not steel, it's iron. There's an iron frame here because this was the jail.
Right here, imagine a round bar that size coming out and coming back in. It was the hasp to a padlock.
Mm-hmm. They would have locked you up, brother Donnie, my brother Donnie.
I'd have been locked.
So they locked people up. Now so the beam looks like it's held up by the window, but we just left it like that. It's actually held up by the metal.
It's going into the brick.
And then there's bricks above that are holding the beam up. So it's nice and solid. And we're not talking about a ton of weight.
No. Well, actually a ton, yes we are.
Yeah, it is several tons, but it's not a ridiculous amount of weight.
Yeah. And that window can hold it.
Yeah, that window can hold it. That's a nice piece of glass there. It only has that one stress crack in the side there.
Now, Ronnie, remember that paint there?
Mm-hmm.
That's the original paint to the building.
Yeah, so that paint there, the blue, we found buried behind the walls. They had all this covered up with paneling at sometime in the 70s and later they put in paneling.
85 is what our year was on the paneling.
We think 85. So when we pulled that off, we found this window and it has that old paint. So we kind of matched that color. It's a little faded, we think, so we matched that color and painted the whole room that color. Whenever we pulled stuff off the walls, you could see remnants of the color all around. So we took it back to how it was. The ceilings were originally white. We figured that out. So we went back to kind of how it was a long time ago. Now I don't know if that's the original color, but it was the color in probably the 40s or maybe the 30s.
Yeah, y'all looked at the videos. There was multiple colors in here, but we think white was
We think it looks pretty good. And then the sticker I had designed up just because I thought it was kind of cool and we wanted to pay a little tribute to make sure everybody that comes in here knows that you're in the Jefferson Jailhouse now, like the song.
And then we did the back.
Came back here, fixed up all of the stucco, which is actually plaster, but we used concrete instead of plaster. Look, people, I know you're supposed to use plaster, but
we basically use stucco.
Yeah, we don't have any plaster experts around.
Yeah, but we got stucco, so
yeah.
You can't really tell.
You can't tell what it painted white. So we fixed it. Literally, at least a third of this room had no plaster left on it. So we covered a lot of that back up. Pretty much the whole back wall had no plaster on it. You can go back and see it.
Yeah, there was a line from.
Yeah. All of that. And the reason for that is because water was pouring in the building.
Ronnie, scroll in up there for me. You see up there, it would appear that the roof is sagging. If you walk across them bricks in,
yes.
It looks like it's sagging about a brick and a half. But don't you worry. We'll get that. And there's a few other things, like the main power line.
Yeah, the power line running in through across the ceiling, that's probably not good.
And like right here, a gas line just running out and copper gas line tap, you know.
Yeah, that's probably not hooked up to anything on the other side.
Yeah, maybe not. Then you got another, I don't know what the hell that is, but there's another line there. But all that's going to be addressed. We got this fine electrician. And we can get the guy, we can get the gas guy too. He's good.
Now, is this post I'm leaning on here?
Oh yeah, that's good.
The one that's in the water at the bottom there?
Yep.
The starting to rot the post?
Yep.
And that they've nailed 2x4s to the side of it to make it a bigger post?
Yeah, that's to spread the weight out and keep it from rotting.
Okay.
It'll rot twice.
So that post appears to be holding up the roof. That's not being held up very well.
Yeah, probably.
You think that's all? You think that's all right if I lean on it a little bit?
Oh hell, it ain't good.
All right.
But see, y'all, you got to realize, you buy properties like this a lot cheaper than you buy one fixed up.
Now, if you see that little, it looks like it's wet up there. That's just a sheen problem with the paint and what's under the paint. It is not wet. Or you would see it on the floor, right? It's nice and dry, people. So the same thing. We had the back beam was all rotted out. The roof was sagging. We held it up with the post. So in the back, we have the same issue. There is a big steel frame, or iron frame, holding up all the bricks above it, which is holding up the beam. So it's nice and solid. All new electrical. Every bit of electrical in the building is brand new, except for the electrical box itself and the service entrance. But the service entrance was replaced in 2008. They put new ones in all through town. Now you might have remembered that they had the service entrance, the line just hanging,
Curiously.
just hanging across the ceiling. So we fixed that, people. We put it up in the roof where it needs to be, so it's not going to hurt anybody. All right, we put in a new air conditioning unit. Now look at this. We've been working in here. Look at these filters. The AC guy's going to kill us. We have a whole new case of them.
The AC guy gave us a whole case. He knew.
He knew.
He knew we was working in dirty conditions.
It's a construction zone. So we got to swap those, but it's all gravy, baby. Brand new air conditioning unit, and I got to tell you, it works great.
Does work great.
Now, these steps I'm on, we did not replace or do anything with yet, because we don't really know what the people are going to want to do that are coming in. So that's kind of, we might end up doing something with that. Same thing here. We had to dig this out to make it a pillar, just to make sure it was strong enough to hold up the post. But once we dug it out, we figured out the concrete was 8 inches deep. Big waste of time.
Yeah, and I think what happened there, y'all, when the town hall come in, they put that drain line in for the water fountain, and they just, to cover it up, they just poured a whole new slab of concrete.
And then we figured out that the drain line was clogged up.
Yeah, it didn't go into the sewer.
So we went through a whole thing where it was clogging up and turning off the air conditioning. So Donnie got a snake, tried to get a camera, got a meter, got Tommy to come by and help us out. And we eventually figured out, because we don't know where it went, that it goes right out that door and was clogged up out there. And he was able to fix that and got it taken care of. So then we go to our bathroom. Now originally the bathroom, if you look right here, see that concrete there? It appears that there was a doorway right there that was bricked up at some point, maybe by the last owner. Maybe. Okay? And out here, there was a brick doorway that was bricked up by Donnie. So you used to go in through that door, and that's how you got into that little room that's there. Now, at the time, whenever we filmed that video, we thought, well, they must have added that in the 80s. They did not. I found a picture from the great tornado of 1958, and there is something in that picture you can see on the back of this building. That little lean-to kind of thing is here in 1958. So it didn't look like it was brick, but so apparently they made it brick. that used to be how you got into the bathroom, which creates a problem where you have to go outside to get into the bathroom. So when
there wasn't no back door.
There wasn't no back door. Yeah, remember this was bricked. So there was really no way to get in the bathroom. Okay, so when we bought it, there was a hole in the wall right here about that big. And you had to crawl through the bricks in the wall to get into the building. But I think what originally was going on was that that door out there led you into a little room right here. And then this was probably just an open door, like an arch. And then there was another door in there into the bathroom. So I think that's how it originally was. So if that door wasn't there, that's probably why that door was there, so you could get out, actually. So how they had it probably was you walk through an archway here, you can go left into the bathroom, or you can go right and go outside. So we think that's how it was. But what we did was, we enlarged the hole that someone else had made into a door. And this is actually the door that was outside. You can see we've done a kind of a little bit thin spray paint job on it. But it's the same door that was outside.
Somebody's going to use it.
Save a little money, you know.
Recycle. We're not saving. It wasn't that money. It was the recycle.
Yeah, we're saving the environment.
Absolutely.
So the door was right there. We framed that all up. So I think originally there was a doorway right here going into the back room. See the concrete? And so you would come in that door where Donnie is, and then you could go into the building, or you could open another door right here, which would have been about right on this side of the sink there. But we made it a little bigger. Put in a new hot water heater. They had a little tiny one there that was all tore up, the bottom was rotted out. This entire part of the building had fallen away from the, this is the back brick wall of the building. This entire thing had fallen away from the building, and water was just pouring in.
And we just pulled her on back.
Yeah, pulled her on back. El Raton!
Did you use the rest of my paper and didn't replace nothing?
Yeah, I have never touched that toilet.
God almighty.
I may never touch that toilet.
I am. I'm going to use it for a urinal.
Okay. So inside here you have this hot water tank that's rusted all to hell. Get that out of the way, Donnie. It's not even hooked up anymore.
Okay.
Hell, throw it outside. We don't even need it. Gene might come get it. And the plumbing in the wall is still in the wall. It's basically the same spot. Everything's in the same place. The toilet was there originally. That's the same one, actually.
Yep.
I just cleaned it up, put a new seat on it, put in a new tile floor. Nice, and we wanted it to be kind of commercial. We didn't want it to be too fancy. You know, that's something that they might have done in the 80s or something. We're trying to make it look a little old school. And our buddies say antiquo. Antiquo.
And we got a fan.
Now, I haven't put the plate on there because I don't have the right one.
We upgraded.
Got a little fan and a light there. Little Studer valve for the vent because it used to go through the roof, but that's a good way to get water in.
Yeah, we don't put nothing through the
We don't like that. There's a little electrical box back here that runs the hot water tank and also runs the alarm on the roof because we wired the alarm back up.
And this bathroom.
And this bathroom. So not much to that. But we had to upgrade it because it, again, all the electrical was scary. Okay, so now we're going to take you out front and show you how the facade ended up. Oh, we didn't talk about the ceiling. We couldn't believe that when we got up into the rafters, there was wood back here, just paneling basically on the roof, the cheap, thin pieces of plywood. And when we pulled them down, all of the rafters were just fine. We didn't have to replace one rafter. The one at the very back was rotted on the very back wall, and we fixed that up, but everything was cool. And so we got it all level whenever we jacked it back up and put the beam in, and then we put this beadboard in that Donnie took a fantastic voyage to go get up in Raleigh.
Yeah, that's the thing. For some reason, I drive.
And Donnie always drives. So we drove up and got that, and then we nailed them all in, and then we cleared them, and then we hung these nice little lights that have kind of an old school look to them, but they've got LEDs in them to all the people that like LED, you know, there you go. Nice and bright. But yeah, nice little back room here that they can use for storage or whatever they're going to do with it. Make it an office or something. Everything's good. All right, let's show them the front, Donnie. Oh, we cleared all this because we've got a building down the street that we did the same thing in, and that was like 15 years ago, and it looks amazing because it's yellowed over time. Just looks great.
We didn't actually use beadboard down there. We
Yeah, we didn't use beadboard. It's just cheap one-buys, but looks great. Okay. So we're gonna lock them in the jail now. That's the original electric box in the same place it always was. Same thing up here. We fixed all of the tin. We found reproduction tin for the cornice work over here. There was a place in Canada that still makes that exact pattern, and they sent us some, and it looks great. Got all the lights in. We tore down the paneling that was covering up the brick in the front, and it kind of matches the brick columns. Slightly different color on the mortar, but all in all, looks very nice. And then we bought some cornice, and we ran down the beam in the middle with some cornice just to make it look old-timey. And then a lot of this, these panels are original, as you can see. They're bent up, but some of them are new, and it blended in pretty well to where you can't really tell which ones are new and which ones are old. You just assume the old ones are the ones that are bent up. And then we made a little access hole here. You can go up through there if you need to get access up to the roof, or the rafters at least. Show them those lights in the window, Donnie.
Oh, man.
So remember we did a video where we were putting those in. That was one of the first videos we did too. Got all that. And so that's good if they want to have something in the showcase windows. Those can shine down and illuminate it, make it look really nice. So nice and clean, looks good. Now you may notice we haven't done anything with the floor. There's not really a good way to do that where it's permanent. You can put tile in. I don't think it would look that good. I don't really like tile, but somebody could if they're depending on what they're going to put in there.
Tile, if you drop something on it, you know it's going to break it, and then you're going to have a problem. The thing we found, if we paint the floor, as soon as somebody moves something on it and scratches it, it makes it a maintenance issue, basically. Yeah. If you leave it like this, yeah, it don't look the best, but it don't look horrible.
Especially once you get stuff in here, you know. And we just leave it up to the tenants, let them take care of it.
It's never going to change. It's going to look just like this 50 years from now.
Carpet, bad idea.
Carpet, you get too many smells with carpet. You don't want carpet.
And all of that costs a bunch of money too.
Yeah, this is the best thing to do now.
It's you know, we're talking at least $3 grand or so to put anything in here. And then you got to replace it whenever somebody moves out. It's just, the hell with that. Let them handle it. Okay. Yep. Out front. Now out here we won't have as much of an echo, so that'll be much better.
Much better.
So you may have seen it before. If not, I'll edit in something. The front was a little the brickwork was in good shape, but it was painted pink at some point in the early 2000s or the late 90s. And the wood on the little porch, the portico as I called it, the wood was all kind of, it just looked horrible. Most of it though was fine. So we replaced some of it. We pressure washed all of it, got it nice and clean, and then we stained it all. And you know, Donnie, I thought it was going to look real heavy, like it was like, I thought it was going to be real ugly, like it had a bunch of weight on the front of the building where it looked dark and out of date and like it was from the 70s and looked kind of ugly, you know, like shag carpet. But it actually looks great. I think it came out looking really nice. We talked about possibly tearing it down at one point. We were thinking, man, you could probably tear that down, but we didn't really want to because it you know, it really helps your air conditioning if you have something over those windows, especially on this side of the street. And so we didn't want to tear it down, but I started thinking, well, maybe we can get those shakes looking better. And if we can get them, you know, more of a cedar look, more of a light look, than the dark gray, you know, the old weathered wood look that they had. It just looked old and beat up. And we were able to clean them, stain them, and it looks great, I think. So we painted it kind of like a goldish yellow, mustard yellow, Donnie thinks, which was similar to one of the colors that we found up above the door. So we went with that, and I think it looks great. Nice little, just painting the trim white really helped too. Got it all back looking nice. We had a bunch of wood here that was rotted that we replaced, the structural stuff. Looks a lot better. We even had a guy come by and pressure wash the sidewalk. Really made it look a lot better. Now there's a little bit of paint we dripped on the sidewalk after that, but we'll clean it up. Don't worry about it. We'll clean it up. And then in our porch here, it had a big fluorescent light bulb mounted up there, and it wasn't even centered. It was off center, a little weird, right? So we wanted to do something that kind of looked, you know, not necessarily real expensive, but put off a little bit of light and just add a little bit of a vintage look to it. So we went with that little center pendant there and some flood lamps, and at night it lights up really good. Of course, they got the warm LEDs in there, so it's got a nice kind of warm light at night. It lights up this whole area, so somebody could come by here and have a seat on this bench if they wanted to. And that's it. It's all looking pretty good. What do you think, Donnie?
I think it turned out excellent. Don't forget that we did put a new metal roof on it.
Yeah, whole new roof on it. New gutters in the back, new gutters on the top. We actually put gutters on the neighbor's roof because it was dumping water on our roof. As an A-frame roof dumping water on our roof, and so we kind of needed gutters to kind of route where that goes.
It took us a while to get this one done. We worked on it probably, what, a year on?
About a year on and off. We stopped a couple times because we did other ones.
It took us about 2 years to get a hold of the guy that owned it and actually buy it.
Yeah.
So
now the guy that owned it 15 years ago, he came by one day and he told us that in his opinion this was the best building in Jefferson. He called it the Gem of Jefferson. So we have fixed up the Gem of Jefferson.
But y'all are going to see this in probably 6 months, something like that.
Yeah.
The whole thing from start to finish. But just know it took us probably 3 years from start to finish. On
yeah.
everything.
The gentleman owned it out of state, and it was a kind of a little bit of a legal thing, and there was some stuff going on and some bad blood and some stuff, and we tracked it down and kept talking and calling and leaving messages and getting messages back and doing our thing, and it took about 2 years. We had to mail paperwork out of state, have somebody sign it. And by the way, people, we've said many, many times, this is not bragging, and this is not us showing off wealth. This is not, you can see the level of the work that we did. We did a lot of work, but we didn't do a lot of expensive work.
Yeah.
So we didn't pay a lot of money for this building, and we haven't spent a ton of money on this building. Now, it costs a lot of money to put in beams, pour concrete, rewire the whole place, put in a new air conditioning unit, put in a new metal roof. You know, so we did spend some money, but we're not talking hundreds of thousands of dollars or anything like that. This is in a small town, and we were doing the work ourselves. It's inexpensive.
And it was spread out over a year.
Yeah, spread out over a year of work. So, but this is what we ended up with. Now, I think what I'll do is we'll end the video with showing them what it looks like at night. What do you think?
Yep, I think so. So
we'll do that. So tell them what to do, Donnie, and what you think about the progress and what happened.
I think it turned out good. Come into under budget actually.
Yep.
Everything did good. We reused a lot of stuff. We didn't waste a lot of material on it. And knowing why we was building this thing is when the lumber spike come in.
Yeah.
And we have not bought a single piece of lumber this whole time, or plywood, or any of that stuff that went through the roof. So it turned out excellent for what it is. You know? It's a nice building. Y'all need to subscribe to the channel if you hadn't already. Give us a thumbs up for filming it, and we'll catch you on the next one.
All right, folks. We'll show you what it looks like at night. Leave your comments below. Let us know what you think. And we're off to the next one. We got a couple other ones in the works, don't we, Donnie?
A couple more.
Got a couple more in the works. So like I said, this one took 3 years to make happen. But we haven't been doing nothing for 3 years. I mean, we've been working on other stuff, and we've been filming it, too. So we'll see you on that real soon. Thanks, guys.